Don't turn to Nespresso or Keurig when you can go one better. That is the slogan of the Rok SmartShot. And in this video, we're going to see, since it's comparing itself to the Nespresso, is it just as easy as Nespresso? Does it make better coffee than Nespresso? And just how can we get the best coffee out of this guy? Also, isn't it just a glorified AeroPress? We're going to take a look at all that today. All right, so to begin, I want to start with an anecdote. I bought this guy and I brought it to work. And I will say one thing right away. I like how small and portable this thing is. It's only a few different parts, easy to take apart. And so I just tossed it in my bike basket and I brought it to work. And I showed it to a whole bunch of different engineers. I'm an electrical one myself, but most of the guys I work with are mechanical engineers. And when they saw this, they thought, oh, that is a nice looking machine. And I think what they really like about this is just the symmetry involved in the design. I mean, it's symmetrical this way. And if you remove the portafilter, symmetrical this way and also this way. It's a cool looking machine. I do have to admit that myself. And what else they really liked is the fact that there's no electricity needed at all. This provides the pressure here. All you need is a water kettle to warm up the water, put the water in the top, and you can pull yourself an espresso. Pretty simple in theory. Well, the guys at work, they love the design. They think it's super cool, but they were a little disappointed in the result of the espresso. And the main reason is because it just loses temperature very quickly. So we're gonna pull a shot with this and see what kind of temperature we're getting out of this guy. Let's do that now. All right, so what Rok says is you don't have to flex any barista skills. All you gotta do is put your coffee in there and stuff it in the machine and you're good to go. So let's just do that. Now I will say one thing right away that's a little bit annoying is since it's got this nub on the bottom of the portafilter, it doesn't sit straight. That's a little unfortunate. But let's just go ahead, take the included scoop, put some in there and see how easy it is to make ourselves an espresso. So that's 11.5 grams and tamping is not that easy either because, you know, it wants a teeter-totter. So anyhow, got it tamped. Let's just stuff it in there. Now something weird is you gotta stuff it from the right to the left when you're inserting the portafilter. Takes some getting used to. So, got some water just coming off a boil. I'm gonna pour it in here up to the top of the lip. And what you'll see is that it's at 90 right now. It quickly goes down to like 85 or 80. So let's just hurry up. Press down. So as I'm pressing down, I'm transferring the power from these levers to the springs. You can see there. You can actually wash the spring, go back up. That is pretty neat, I gotta admit. And there the espresso comes out. Pretty simple. Let's see, what temperature are we at with the espresso? 52 degrees Celsius. So that is honestly a bit on the cool side. I like my espresso warmer than that, at least 60 degrees. So the first shot of the day is, it's not really hot enough. I mean, the taste is okay. It, to me, seems under extracted. It really lacks like a depth of flavor. It can get better. If you just let this guy warm up, it should get better the next 2 or 3 shots. But that's not really the point, is it? This should just be really super simple and easy to use. So that's what the puck looks like right there. Let's dump that guy out. Okay, so now it's clean, more or less. Let's give that a little wipe. And now it does feel warmer, so that should hopefully help with our next shot. For the next shot, what we're gonna do is compare this guy to the Nespresso. All right, now for this example to be as fair as possible, what I'm gonna do is start this guy up and let it do one empty shot since this guy got one shot, and we're gonna compare the temperature. What else we're going to do is do a direct comparison of the coffee involved. So right here, I got this Starbucks Pike Place Nespresso capsules, and what I'm gonna do is put one in here, I'm gonna pull a ratio, and then I'm gonna take two of these apart, put them in the Rok, and do the same ratio and just compare the taste and also the temperature. Now, one more thing that I want to say before we keep going is you can also get cheaper Nespresso pods. So these ones are quite expensive from Starbucks or from Nespresso, but at least if you live in Europe, you can find some generic ones like these here, and these cost way less, like half the price. All right, let's do the comparison here and see how easy it is to use the Nespresso versus the Rok. So let's start the timer now. There's about 6 grams of coffee in here, by the way. Open, drop in, close, put the cup underneath, and press the button. Pretty simple. What we get out, 20.2 grams. And the temperature, about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So nice and hot. And clean up, open, close, done. That was pretty simple. Now let's do a little puck prep. I'm gonna have to put a funnel on. And what we're gonna do is open up these capsules here and use exactly the same coffee. Okay, so we're talking about 11 grams of coffee in there. Let's give it a tamp. Put this in the machine and see what kind of coffee we get out. So with 11 in, we're gonna be looking to get 33. I'm gonna heat up my water again. Okay. We'll go down. And there it goes. 20, 22, 27, 29, 33. Okay, so does make a bit of a mess there. But that's okay because this thing is pretty easy to clean. Let's see what temperature we got out this time. Looks like 50. Looks like you can get about 55 on the second try, and I can get right around 60 or so on the third try. But here's the important part. How do they compare in taste? So let's try the Nespresso first. Now, Nespresso is such a big seller simply because it is so easy. I mean, it's comfortably hot. It doesn't have like a ton of depth of flavor. Just a little bit of chocolate notes. That's really about all I get out of it. But I mean, for an espresso capsule, it's okay. Now let's try the one from the Rok, made from 2 Nespresso capsules. It's under extracted. It's a bit sour, but it's got a little bit more flavor than does the Nespresso, but a bit more unpleasant, to be honest. So is the Rok as convenient as an espresso? No way. There's no way that the Rok is going to replace Nespresso. In fact, I don't really see why they're comparing themselves to Nespresso. This is for people who just want a fast, something like espresso in the morning. Whereas a lever machine, it requires work, and a lever machine is normally for somebody who's more of an enthusiast. However, this does not include an enthusiast basket. This includes a pressurized basket, which means it's just got one hole on this side. The basket creates the pressure itself. So it just gets kind of soupy inside here, and it pushes all the liquid out through this one hole, therefore creating a ton of pressure that way. But it's not from the coffee itself. So what we're gonna do is replace this guy with a different basket. This is the IMS basket. As it turns out, this guy fits in this portafilter. I will link the basket down below so you can give it a shot if you already own this machine. All right, so to get the best out of the Rok SmartShot, what you can do is use a proper basket. You're gonna need fresh beans. I got 16 grams dosed out right here of some freshly roasted beans. We're gonna put them through this DF54 grinder. Dump those grinds in here. Do just a little bit of distribution while we're at it. Let's just make the puck nice and give this Rok the best shot that we can. This is a 51 millimeter portafilter tamper, by the way, from DeLonghi. So the 51 millimeter stuff fits. Okay. So now we got a properly prepared puck here for the Rok. Let's warm up our water again. Okay, here we go, just off the boil. Pull the arms up. This does wobble a bit, so you do have to be kind of careful when you're using it. Pull the arms down. Oh, there we go, that looks a little better. What I do notice is that this guy does stall sometimes a little bit. But that extraction anyway is looking better to me. Emma, you can push on the piston a little if you want also. Or if you want, you can just reapply some pressure. Okay, I'm gonna call that good right there. I'm guessing that is about 30 grams out. And that looks a little better to me. Temperature. At the top it's right around 57, so it's getting better. Like I said, if you do this a few times in a row successively with no breaks in between, you can get it up to 60 or even 65 degrees, but you got to make them quickly one after the other. So let's see how this tastes. What else is kind of weird is how it just pees at the end there. That's honestly sour. That's too sour. But I have gotten better extractions by using this method with the basket. You do need, however, to have this thing preheated pretty well. So is it worth it to buy this Rok SmartShot or not? I mean, isn't it just basically a glorified AeroPress, which costs us a fraction of the price? Well, I would say no. I mean, there's similar principles, right? You're just applying pressure from the top with a plunger or piston. And I mean, this does have a good amount more, you know, mechanics to go along with it, with the springs on the side, and the manufacturing of these arms is really nice. This is polished aluminum. It's a very cool design. I really like how it looks. It's definitely a talking piece. If somebody comes into your house, they're definitely going to notice this thing and ask you about it. The AeroPress, on the other hand, is very utilitarian. It's also got a much bigger chamber, so you can't, you know, build up the same kind of pressure. It doesn't, at least mine doesn't have any valve on the bottom to build much for pressure. So I wouldn't say that this is that similar to the AeroPress. But what I think you do have to ask yourself is, does it make sense to get this one, the Rok SmartShot, over a DeLonghi Dedica, for example? I bought this and it cost me 175 euros shipped. Plus you need to buy a water kettle. So I was just using this brown water kettle right here. Nothing fancy. This costs about, I think, 40 euros or so. If you already have a water kettle, then fine. Maybe that makes this a little bit more attractive. Of course, you could also buy yourself a fancy one like this here from Fellow. But then this is like almost the same price as the SmartShot. I don't know if that makes much financial sense. And considering how much heat this thing loses, you need that water to be as hot as possible. So you just got to bring it to a full boil anyway. Getting back to the Dedica, I mean, this one does the water heating for you, does the pumping for you. It comes with pressurized baskets too, but you can replace them with a non-pressurized one, like this IMS Basket on there. You can also get a bottomless portafilter for it. There's a ton of aftermarket parts for the Dedica, and it costs the same. So, or right around the same. Plus, you can steam milk with the Dedica. I don't know. I find the Dedica to be the much more interesting option between these two, to be honest. And it's not like you can pressure profile with this guy anyway, because as soon as you get the arms pressed down, you're not doing the profiling yourself anyway. It's the springs that are taking over. So I don't really see where the Rok sits in the myriad of espresso products. I think it's not nearly as convenient enough for the casual espresso drinkers. There's a lot of steps here and also a fair amount of cleanup. And it's with its pressurized basket, it's not interesting enough. Also with the fact that you don't do the pressure profiling yourself, it's not interesting enough for an espresso enthusiast, in my opinion. So to me, this is just kind of a weird product, albeit a really beautifully designed product from an aesthetic standpoint. But when it comes down to it, the espresso has been disappointing because it just does not extract hot enough. And with that being said, this doesn't extract hot enough. Okay, I mean, I guess what you could do is maybe just let some water sit in here for a while. But then people also ask the question, well, what is it made out of? What materials? Well, it's all plastic, you know? Everything here besides the arms is plastic. So this part here, the piston, plastic. The body is all plastic. Of course, the foot is plastic. So how long do you want hot water sitting in plastic? I don't know. However, in Rok's defense, almost everything that we use these days is plastic. Look, this water kettle, plastic. AeroPress, plastic. This Nespresso maker, it's plastic too. And in the DeLonghi Dedica, there are PTFE lines, also known as Teflon. So it's just kind of something that is in our everyday. All right, you guys, I hope the video was helpful. I hope that it was interesting for you. And if you'd like to see me take this apart, because I've already done it, let me know and I'll post a video of this thing taken apart. Hope that you guys have a good one. And until next time, I say happy coffee drinking, happy espresso drinking. Bye now.